Hey witches, welcome back to the channel. It's the Wild Witch here. I hope that you're all doing great. I actually had a different video planned, but my dad had a really bad accident and I wanted to do a work-in for him. Now the video that I planned on uploading in place of this video was for the plant series. Now I still plan on uploading for the plant series. It's just going to be a week or two behind schedule, but that should be it. Just this working is throwing my schedule off, so I'm gonna have to postpone it for a week or two. But if you follow the plant series or that's something that interests you, make sure to keep your eyes open for it, because I will be uploading it pretty soon. Now I want to tell you what I'm drinking, because y'all know I love to share that with you guys. So this is a Tulsi Hawthorn flowers, leaves, roses, and nettle blend, and it's so wonderful. I also want to mention before we get started, if you hear this noise in the background, I've got my grow lights and my Aero Garden running. They're on a schedule, and so they're going right now. Also, I've got this window open behind me, so you might be able to hear the vehicles going by like that loud shit right now. I do apologize, but there's nothing that I can do about that. What else? Oh, y'all might see our tent and some lights and stuff out there. My son has had a fit to go camping, but it's rained every weekend that we've tried to go. So he really wanted to go, so we decided over the weekend that we would just put everything up in the yard and we would have a little camp weekend just out in the backyard. So if you see the tent and stuff back there, then that's why that's up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get into this video. I'm not sure if you're interested in this, but I thought some of you guys might be interested in the type of working that I'm doing. I chose to do a Poppet for wound healing, and yeah, I just thought some of you guys might be interested in seeing what this looks like. So I'm going to move out of the way and show you what everything is. Now I did have to go ahead and make a few things because it does take more than one day for this working, or for me for this working, but I'm just going to move out of the way and show you what I'm talking about, so you can see instead of me trying to just explain and you have no clue what I'm talking about. So give me a second. I'm going to move the camera. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and get started. All right. So you see this candle. So I made this beeswax candle. Now you don't have to make your candle if you don't want to. If you want to purchase your candle, that is perfectly fine. I wanted to keep mine as natural as possible, so I infused the beeswax for 72 hours in corresponding herbs for healing, as well as to get the specific color that I want. So your main thing is you want to make sure that the color of your candle corresponds with what you're trying to manifest, that intention. So I typically associate healing with the color blue. As far back as I can remember, I've associated blue with healing. However, for this working, I wanted it to be a blood red. So that's why I've chosen to go with red, which you really can't tell because I've already inscribed the candle and fully dressed it with oils and an herbal powder. That's why it's this like brick color. So if you do make your own candle and you infuse it with herbs, you also want to make sure they correspond with what it is you're trying to manifest. So the next thing that I made was this Poppet. Now I wanted to also go with a solid red, but either I have used all my red fabric or I can't find it because everything's put up from the move, but I still haven't learned exactly where I've put things. So I had to end up going with this red and white flannel, which was perfectly fine. It works just as well. All right, the next thing that I did was made this herbal powder. Now I've already burned the herbal powder. I wanted to do it on a specific date, as well as the candle. I wanted to, and the poppet. So all of these things that I've made already, I wanted to do on Sunday in the hour of the sun, and on the new moon to get this going. All right, so back to this powder. So like I said, I burned the herbs, and the reason I burned it is we're going to make a paste to stuff it into the poppet. Now your herbs might differ from my herbs. I'm going with wound healing. So I wanted herbs that are anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, analgesic, antimicrobial, as well as restorative. I want this wound to stop bleeding. I want it to keep infection. I want these herbs, to keep infection at bay. I want it to help with pain. I want it to drain fluid. I want it to regenerate and restore connective tissues, cells, skin tissue, bone, muscle, tendons, blood vessels, capillaries, so forth and so on. So, like I said, you want to burn your herbs and keep the ash, and then we're going to use them. All right, now I've crushed up some amethyst chips, or I've crushed up some amethyst, and we're going to mix it in with our ash for the paste, because this adding this amethyst in is going to give it that little boost of speeding up the wound, healing process. It's going to help speed everything up. And then I've got this oil that I've made. I call it Thieves and Healers, and it's a healing oil. All right, so but before we jump into that, I want to go ahead and consecrate, name, and dedicate this poppet. Now again, you can do this however you see fit. You can do it however you like. When I consecrate something, I use the elements, so that's what we're going to do. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my tea. So I'm going to go ahead and light my candle so it can be ready. All right, let me make sure y'all can see. Okay, let's just go ahead and get started. So I've got some, let me just pull this out. I've got some salt in this little box. And everything has been cleansed, charged. It's all ready to go. I consecrate you with the powers of the element of earth. And this is a consecration incense powder that I made. I consecrate you with the powers of the element of air. I consecrate you with the powers of the element of fire. I consecrate you with the powers of the element of water. I've created you, and I declare you charged with the powers of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. You are now. His body is your body. His blood is your blood. His breath is your breath. His wound is your wound. You are now one. I give you life. As I will it, so it shall be. Okay, so now the poppet is ready to go. I'm going to take this bowl and I'm going to dump this. I'm going to dump this ash into it. I'm going to take the amethyst. Let me put it up here so you can see. And I'm going to dump these crushed pieces up in there. All right, now we're going to take this oil. I'm going to pour some in here. I'm just going to stir it up to make it into a paste. I'm going to add some more oil. It looks like sludge, but it's good to go. Alright. I want to go ahead and light the candle, so you might want to light your candle now. Now, I also placed a picture of my dad under the candle. And you don't have to do that if you don't want to, because, you know, you've already inscribed it and you've already put the person's information inside of the poppet. So that's just totally up to you. I just wanted to do that. Now it's about to get messy. So now I'm going to take this paste that we made, or this sludge. Item is sticking out that I put in there. Okay, so this is a wound, that his whole leg is a wound, and so we're going to stuff this wound right now. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. Now that I've got the wound full, I'm going to melt wax from the candle over the top of the wound. As we're sealing this wound up. We're sealing it up so that it can heal. So it keeps infection out. It stops bleeding. So you just want to seal it up real good. I'm going to hook you up, Dad. Your wound is healing so beautifully. It's going to be nice and healed. Now you can do this working anytime that you want to. I'm doing it in the daytime because I associate the day, like the sun, to be very healing. Plus, this is the perfect time to do a working for my dad. Early in the morning, the sun is just rose up or risen, whatever. So this is the perfect time. But you can do it on a new moon, a full moon, or on a waxing moon, because you want to bring healing in. And we've got this looking so good. So beautiful. Okay. Now we're going to sit this candle back in here. Okay, now I don't know if you noticed, but I've got this little charm necklace, this little crystal necklace around the neck of the Poppet. So I'm going to take my healing oils and I'm going to anoint these crystal beads with this healing oil. Now the necklace is for all over healing. It's also, to help with the pain, to help with the stress of going through this. Like I mentioned earlier, my dad is an outdoor person and he cannot go outside. He can't walk. He can't move. So this is also going to help calm him, bring him peace, just to help him get through this process that he's going through. Is also going to bring him comfort and overall healing. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but this is something else that I made for the Poppet. So, let me see if you can see. I hope that you can see inside of this box. I made this bed, and I've lined it with healing herbs and moss, like cleavers, and some flowers. It's got clear quartz and amethyst, and then I made this little red and white like mattress, and then I had to bring blue in somewhere, so I've got this cloth that I'm going to use as a blanket, and this has been infused with amethyst and clear quartz, so it's like a healing blanket that's going to go over him so he can lay down and rest and get all the rest that he needs so that he can heal. And we're just going to leave him in this box on his little bed, and he's going to stay protected. I can close it up so that he can heal. We're just going to let this start working and heal his wound right up. So that's what it looks like. Let me go over the top so you can see. I'll show you what this looks like here. And this cutest little bed for healing, and then he's got his little blanket. So that's it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Until next time, fly high, witches. Peace out.